Okay, so today, in honor of the recession and of Hot Topic being a fast fashion brand, I'm going to teach you how to make shit instead of buying it from Hot Topic. So I'm just going to show you like what I've made and then explain how I made it. Okay, so first, this can tabs, just save them for like a year or whatever. This is just a random piece of junk. I don't fucking know. Anyways, you know, you could do bracelet, necklace, belt thing, whatever. This is usually a bracelet, but I just grabbed a fucking safety pin and I was like, today it's gonna be part of my fucking tank top. And then I just cut out a green piece of fabric and sewed it on. Don't need a sewing machine. You could do sewing. Things really fucking easy. You just need, you know, needle and thread. You know, you don't even need the thread. You could do something else instead of the thread probably, but you know, thread is very cheap, so you know, it should be pretty accessible, you know. You could just, like, if you just have spare pieces of fabric, or you could go to the thrift store, or just like something that you're gonna throw out, if you could keep it and then cut out the pieces of fabric and sew it on, like for this. Or this, when I found it, was just a pair of like military type pants, but you know, they kind of have that used look because they have been used. And then I made these patches with some bleach and black cotton and like paintbrushes. You want to make sure to water down your fucking bleach, otherwise it will like mess with your paintbrushes. A couple of my paintbrushes got eaten. Luckily, they are very cheap, so it was, you know, it's kind of whatever. Okay. Can't really fucking tell this in the light, but you know, whatever. You know, I just sewed these on. You know, it did take a while, but you know, it's a lot easier to sew them on if you do general shapes. With the fish one down here, that is not done and that had taken me the longest. Okay. So, next, according to Wikipedia, 40% of, you know, Hot Topic sales were licensed band t-shirts. Fuck. You know, unless it is like an indie band, they probably have enough money already, so it's like whatever. But I got this shirt from a thrift store. I was just like, I have to have this, like the dollar thrift. And then I got some bleach and I made this little patch and then I sewed it on. You know, cost me like probably less than $1 because it was the one where they do it by weight instead of by other things. So, you know, very cheap, very easy. Another thing you could get is fabric paint. So, you know, I always see a lot of Adventure Time shit that I always want to get when I'm at Hot Topic. Made this, you know, I just like designed it myself, but with, you know, you could, I got some fabric paint to go over the bleach, just kind of like do a little outline type situation. Any cotton shirt that you have. If it's a cotton mix, it may or may not work, so preferably cotton. If it is not cotton, it won't work. It's going to be weird. But if it's not cotton, you probably don't want it because polyester absorbs sweat a lot. So I have some stuff that is like 100% polyester that I love, but at the same time, I'm like, on a hot day, no, not happening, because I will never get the stench out, even with a little vinegar. You know. This one, another Adventure Time one, I didn't do the paint on this, so this is just bleach, you know, Simon, Prismo on the back, Fiona and Cat.
Shapes and colors the likes of which I've never seen.
What I also do is, you know, if you go to a concert, there are, you know, you could get the shirt at the concert. Does cost more, would recommend going up. This was like $50, but it is cotton. It did shrink a lot because I got like I think it was a double extra large, and it's like very much giving medium-ish now, so go up a couple sizes for sure. And then, alright, so this I thrifted by weight, so it was like $1. It was too long for me, so I just cut it so it's like a little bit above knee length, but it was like originally a Target type deal. So I'm definitely gonna like add like patches on it and stuff, but I just have, this is just like a plain black hoodie that I had, and then I sewed the little guy from Coraline on there. There's always a ton of Coraline shit at Hot Topic, but then I just already had this key from my Coraline costume when I was like 12, or maybe it was for my birthday. I forget if it was for the costume or for my birthday, because it really could have been either, but not really important. You know, if you don't want to like sew a little thing, which you can, if it's not like a darker, you can just like a darker fabric, you could just get like a Crayola marker if you don't have a fabric marker, because those will wash right out, and then just like trace over what you're gonna do. Or you could buy patches from somewhere. Those are gonna be, you know, cheaper than getting a licensed thing. You could get a licensed patch if that's what you want to do instead. This is a backpack that was boring as fuck, so I had to fix it. So I just sewing like little broken hearts. This taken me so long, and it's not nearly done, as you can see, but whatever. I was trying to learn how to crochet, so this was like part of that. This is a random piece of fabric. You could just put random pieces of fabric on things. Like, this is a dinosaur that I just drew, and then this is like a paper clip stapled to a piece of plastic, stapled to a piece of metal, taped to a piece of paper, and some more plastic. So it's just random trash that I just kind of like threw together, and I was like, this is kind of something. This is one that I made by myself that is, I've seen people do like the bottom of the can thing, but you can also do the top. This is just like some tape and random things that I had already. So, I mean, like, I do have some buttons that I bought, but I also have some that I made because I couldn't find them, or like I wanted to make it or whatever. But buttons are usually on the cheaper side anyway, so it's kind of, you know, if you're going for save time for money, I would say don't go with the buttons, go with the shirts, because the shirts are usually more, and then they're not even cotton. So if you do buy something new from Hot Topic, check to make sure that it is at the very least 100% cotton, because you don't want to be paying, you know, $60 for a pair of pants. You get home, you realize they're polyester the whole time, because polyester is a bullshit. That's like, you're wearing plastic, which if you like the feel of, you like, no judgment. I love some of the polyester things that I have, but just like don't pay $100 for something that is polyester. Like, just don't do it. And then, you know, if you can, you know, if you want to, you could like shave off half your eyebrows, which is what I do. So I could do like the other half as like a little thing or whatever, and I also like to make them a little longer because naturally they kind of go to like here. So, you know, I would say makeup wise, the only thing that you really need is an eyeliner, because, you know, if you're doing black lipstick anyways, then, you know, line your lips with the eyeliner. I don't have an eyebrow thing. I just use my eyeliner for like everything. And then if your eyelid shape is kind of like mine, like, can't really see what, like, you can see the green, like, kind of, but I just usually do the liner like here to here, really quick, really fast. Once you learn how to do it, it'll take you like 3 seconds. But you could also just do like not a wing, like just kind of like underneath and on top, like you know. In my hair, I didn't use any hairspray, which actually worked out fine because I had this hair stuff that I've never used. So you need hair gel, and I had like this like hair balm is kind of, I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but the hair balm was very cheap. It was like $2 or something. The hair gel is just like a giant tub. So, yeah, if you're into that, you could do that pretty easily. I do my own hair fully, so if, you know, what I would recommend doing if you have short hair or if you want to get short hair, because there's like a lot. It's not gonna look the cutest at first, but get your own hair shit. Do your own hair. Or, you know, just because I did give myself the mohawk, I think it looks like acceptable. It's not the best. It's a little weird, a little wacky, but you know, we're getting there. But at the same time, also, like, sometimes my hair gets a little too long and then I have to do a haircut, so sometimes it's more often than once every month. So you could bleach your own hair, you can dye your own hair, you can cut your own hair. If you're into hair stuff, you can learn how to do it for sure. Just be super careful. Make sure that you do your research before you bleach. Research before bleach. Remember that. Very important. And then next thing, probably be like, my sibling uses Arctic Fox, and then I've used Manic Panic before. That didn't work super well for me, but it worked okay. But I have a different one now that I forget what it's called. But do not get the hair. So if you have long hair, probably don't go with the box one. Just go with like a kit instead. So you might have to go to, like, unfortunately, Amazon or some kind of like hair place or something. But I did just use like the 40 volume bleach. I would recommend trying out a 2020 just because, so 40 is if you want it to be like really a lot. And then, you know, get someone to look at the back of your hair if you care about kind of like where the hair dye is. I just kind of did it like all over the place, random. So there's some green, there's some brown, there's a lot of colors in there, you know, probably a little yellow because I need to re-dye my hair. But also, if you dye your hair, get a shampoo that doesn't fuck it up, because that's something that I did not realize at first, how important it was to get a shampoo. I bought the like $3 one. I think it was like Garnier or something. Seems to work fine. It's just the shit that's in most shampoos will fuck up your hair dye. It's kind of like the thing about that. I'm doing a lot. And then this, so you don't have to like weld or anything, but you know, if you have a pair of pliers, this used to be an earring, and then I took it off, and then let me take it off so I can show you, but I put some glue on this part to glue it to the hoop so that it wasn't like a hanging situation, and then I just put them onto my earbuds. And then this one was also an earring, and the other one, as you can see, has fallen off and I lost it, so that's too bad. Anyways, getting back to what I was saying with the necklace, let me show you. Okay, so this was not originally one necklace, but I thrifted the pearl part. This part was from Amazon, I think, and then this was from like a gemstone place, but you can just like get pliers and then, you know, put together your jewelry however you want. Change it up, you know, just be careful that you don't permanently ruin it, because I have had a couple that I've ruined. And also, if you do buy stuff from Hot Topic, one thing I would say absolutely do not buy, is not worth it, is, I don't know if they still have them, but the pants with the chains are bad quality, specifically like the red and black ones. So the thing that you can save the most on is shoes. Do not buy the $200, $1,000 shoes. It's probably not worth it. But these are keys from Monster High, which I'm not planning to buy anything new because they did a whole AI bullshit, but this chain was from the belt thing, and it just kept like repeatedly breaking for no fucking reason at all, and it was just like horrible. But anyways, I thrifted these shoes. I didn't even buy them new. Don't buy them new if you're doing fake leather. You know, you could buy real leather new so that you know that it's real leather, or just like make sure that you're sure about it. This is a Shrinky Dink. This is also from Monster High. And then with the other shoe, this is a random chain that I had. This is another Shrinky Dink. This is a piece of a chain. This is like a rock. You know, this is like a keychain thing. And then the thing's weird because I like to put it back like this. So, I mean, you know, if you have enough shoelace, you can tie your shoelaces however you want. It's really not up to, like, it doesn't really matter, like, how you do it. So those are, like, the main things that I've made. The other thing that I would say is don't buy a plaid shirt new, probably because I don't know what it is about long sleeve shirts, but they're like, oh, $70. Like, what is this? What do you think this is that I'm gonna pay $70 for a long sleeve shirt? Like, in what world are we living in? You know? Because you could always just get like a plain long sleeve shirt, and even if you don't want to add anything to it, you could just wear like a short sleeved or a tank top over it. So, you know, layering is great. But, you know, with cotton, it doesn't hold in heat as much, so I feel like you can do a little bit more layering, and that's like a great thing to consider for sure. And then makeup wise, I'm sure this brand is horrible, but ethically, in the way that it works well. But because I have not been able to find any like white foundation besides this one. So LA Girl Pro Color Foundation Mixing Pigment. They have a couple of different colors. I like to do just white, but I think they also have like blue. And the other like color mixing ones, just get it in big size, you know, you're good, you got your foundation. If you don't want to do like regular foundation, because it is really hard to find places where they sell that, because they're like, oh, I guess we'll just do this once for Halloween, because that's the only time that people would ever even think about wearing white foundation. You know, obviously that's not. And then you don't need a setting powder. That's not something that you need for sure. Okay, so I was doing my eyebrows the other day, but if you want to do white brows, just use the foundation. You go in there with a brow brush. Works well. Pretty fast, doesn't take too long. And then the other thing that I've noticed is that foundation brushes do not work very well. I saw this on like Drag Race, but like just put the foundation into your hand and then just like rub it in, you know, make sure you got good coverage, do a couple layers maybe. And then if you want to like if you want to set it, you know, just you can use a white eyeshadow to set it. You don't necessarily need a setting powder, and a white eyeshadow will probably be in any palette that you're gonna get. And, you know, like you don't need a special palette. I have one palette of colors, one palette of black and white that I've used for like 3 years, which I know isn't great. I should probably get a new one soon, just because unfortunately, it is potentially dangerous to use expired makeup. And then if you're gonna get a lipstick, do not get a lipstick that is like, if it's not matte, you don't want it. Is kind of, you don't have to follow. A couple of these lipsticks, I have no idea what brand it is, but I know the Maybelline 24 hour whatever works well. But, you know, and I think they have a couple of colors that aren't necessarily like the most like normally ones, you know. Not that there's anything wrong with like a good red lip, it's just not for me. So here is how to put on a matte lipstick. So I'm going to tell you before I do it, but probably don't do what I just did. That's how you pump it full of air and dry it out faster. So just like go like this sort of to make sure that it is. Alright, so that's not the best that I've ever done, but you know, like just outline your lips. If you've never done it before, do outline them with a lip liner first. It's probably going to be the best thing. Practice with the shitty lipstick that you can wipe off right after, because this dry down matte stuff is going to be on until you eat nachos, or like whatever it is, whatever's like a greasy thing that you eat. If you want to, you could put lipstick, but then it's going to transfer. Lip gloss, that's a shiny stuff. Yeah, so then with shadows for blending, I just use my finger. I'm just finger painting. Do not buy a brush set. You need probably at most 3 brushes. Brush for foundation or blush if you want to use a brush for that. An eyeliner brush. That's only if you're not using the felt tipped eyeliner. Or like you want to do like some kind of like eyeshadow situation that's like very intricate. And maybe this one. Okay, but you do not need to buy a pack of 10. Get a pack of 3. If you need more, you could buy more, but that's probably, you're not going to need more than 3 brushes, even if you do everything with the brushes. And then with the liner, okay, so it's worn off now, just because of my glasses and I'm sweating and everything, but I do like little nose contour like all the way down to here sometimes. You can blend in the shimmery shadow. If you have one white shimmery shadow, then any eyeshadow that you have could be potentially that, you know, eyeliner stamps you could put on your eyebrows or whatever. Just, I guess the main takeaway from this video is do not feel like you have to use anything for the intended purpose, but do test it out before you leave. Like if you're gonna wear a skirt as a shirt, make sure you're not gonna be like titties out. Like, make sure you're fine. Test it out a little bit, you know, do a little test. Very important, very important. This one works the best for me when I'm trying to do little details, but I've also had like a one that's like more flat, like a straight edge sort of that you could use. And then so how to put it on the eyeliner is just because I need a little more eyeliner, honestly. Just like this, go over, you know, go out a little bit if you want to do a wing, and then go back over it like that to do like a kind of bigger wing, kind of make it symmetrical, but it doesn't have to be super symmetrical. It's fine if it's not. Don't worry about that too much, because I know everybody feels like some type of way about having symmetrical makeup, but girl, your face is not symmetrical to begin with. But I'm gonna do up here too, just to show you like this. Ah, fuck. Okay, I might have gotten it in my eye. No, I'm fine. Don't get it in your eye. That's also, but I mean, you can make it as thick as you want, pretty much. Or this is one of my favorites. Just make it a little bit more Halloween. It's also, I forgot to say this earlier, but it's best if you support it somehow. You could just do like a little, just do like a couple of little triangles, like a bat, and then like shade it in, you know, just like this. Not too difficult, might take you a couple of times. I got some makeup remover for practicing, or my eyeliner is not waterproof. Most eyeliners, despite what they say, I've tried a lot and I have not found a waterproof one so far. But I mean, honestly, ideally, you would want an eyeliner that's like sob proof, you know, because you never know. You never know what kind of day you're gonna have. Like, you don't want to be like, oh my, if you are starting to cry and you have like an elaborate makeup situation going on, go like this, like, so hopefully it doesn't mess up your makeup. Just hope for the best, you know. And then for the nose part, I go like this. And then, so you could go like this and this, or you could do like a curve or whatever. I like to do like this, sort of. But you don't have to start it like right here. You could do from here to here, you know, just kind of like play around, figure out whatever works on your face. And then if you really fuck up your lipstick like I did, then you can just outline it with your eyeliner, and it kind of makes it look like a little better. But I like to overline my things sometimes. Sometimes I go with how it is, but you can always shade in like right here if you want it a little bit darker. But, you know, keep in mind, eyeliner is not really supposed to be adjusted, so maybe do get a lip liner, but I don't know, whatever you want. Just don't sue me, please. But, you know, yeah, so I did fuck up a little bit there, and it's bad. As how waterproof it is, look at that. Almost nothing, and yet it's like almost gone. Alright, there we go. That's a little better. Okay. Be right back. Be right back. So this is what I have. We're just gonna add in a little bit more detail. You should clean your brushes. You should not be like me. You should clean them every time after you use them and really care about your skin's health. Don't worry about me though, I'm fine. So I'd like to do like a little bit, just like right here on your nose. Like a little bit, like a circle-y, you know. If you want to, you could do a little bit here or here, but you know, if you die, that's not on me. Yeah, and then, you know, I put some like right here, here, underneath for sure. I need a little bit more actually underneath, or even just like around the eyeshadow, and then I just kind of blend it like that, so it looks like kind of like blended, but in like a smudgy way. If you want it blended really smooth, probably brushes is the way to go for that. But I mean, you know, it's probably not gonna be very easily symmetrical because, you know, your face is not very symmetrical. You could go like around, like, don't be afraid to take your eyeshadow all the way up to your like brow. Like, don't even worry. You know, do a little bit right here, and then, so I did this out of order, but yeah, if you're gonna do the foundation, just, you know, do little pats. You could do most of the things first and then do, you know, but you do it over like this, obviously that's gonna kind of be like more of like blended out. But, you know, and just like that pretty much. And, you know, great thing about foundation is if you made any mistakes, no you didn't, they're gone. Don't worry about it. Where are they? Where are they? Don't worry about it. They're gone. They're gone. But, you know, the thing that I find a lot is I can't really do like normal makeup because it is like kind of the same skill set, but at the same time it is a little bit of a different skill set to, you know, depends on how alternative you're going. But, you know, you could just do however many layers of foundation feels right, you know. It will help your eyeshadow if you want it a little bit brighter. I did not do it today, but just doing, you know, the white foundation underneath of it really helps. Just try and make it like as even as you can, but, you know, don't worry, your skin's gonna have texture. That's how skin works. And then kind of, you know, get a little bit extra. You don't have to do this part if you don't want to, but, you know, rub a little bit into your neck so it kind of like blends in. If you want to do that, if you don't, you could totally skip that part. That's just, I started doing and I really liked it, so I'm just gonna keep doing that. Try not getting any in your hair. Mission Impossible, you know. But, you know, just really blend it. So, no, that's kind of what we're working with now. Don't use lipstick for anything besides lipstick because it will probably be horrible. If you put it on your eyes, it will get really sticky and really weird, and don't ask me how I know that. Don't worry about it. But what you can do is like little dots where it's not gonna touch where you're like sweaty. Okay, be right back. If you don't care about transfer, you could do some of this if you're going for like a shiny lip situation.
is probably expensive, I think. Because my mom has like a makeup thing where they send her expensive makeup for cheaper or whatever, and she's like, you want it? And I was like, you know, sure, why not? And then eyeliner stamps, very important, you know. They're cute. You could do like a little Monster High moment. I think Dracula has them on her right side, like the little heart. As you can see, mine are on their way out, but you know, could just get a pretty big pack of those and that'll work for a while. You know, if you fuck up the stamp, just go over it a little bit until it looks a little bit less shit, and then there you go. There you go. Alright, so I'm just gonna do a little bit more here. But if you get non-waterproof eyeliner, it will smear very easily, which can be used to your advantage, but you could also just see that's not symmetrical. That's okay. That's okay. I want to look weird. I don't want to look symmetrical. I just want to look weird, and but like in a cunty way. Like, damn, look at that weirdo. Fine as fuck, you know. It's a little bit uneven. You know, you could do multiple layers to try and make it as even as you can if you wear glasses. Number one thing, put on the glasses while you're doing your makeup so you can see what does it look like with my glasses, what does it look like without my glasses, just to get like a frame of reference. Okay, so cologne slash like perfume alternative that I have found that I've been really liking. Like, I do still use cologne, but you know, it is whatever. Anyways, lotion and very extreme like peppermint. I think this is for your hair actually. Whatever. So if you get the really intense one that is like 100% oil of whatever kind, don't get something you're allergic to, obviously. I just prefer peppermint. Get some lotion, get like a little bit. Like a drop. Make sure I put it back up. I can already, like, it's very intense. Mix it together. Like this. And then just like put it on like cologne or perfume, you know. I feel like it does last longer than cologne because I feel like cologne is very like temperamental. I've tried a lot of perfumes. I've tried a lot of things where they're like, oh, this is like $30, but nothing in it is real. And I'm like, $30 for an aerosol container? Girl. I mean, I paid that much, but it's not good. It's not good. The hearts are just like little eyeliner hearts because they're like healed. So I was like, ooh, they need little hearts today, you know? Can't smell it, but smell great, fantastic, beautiful, you know? Plus, a lot of colognes or perfumes will get discontinued. So if you want to do like a signature scent for whatever reason, they're probably going to have like the same natural oil for like a very long time. Or if it gets discontinued, you could just find a new one or whatever. So, yeah.
Drink water! It's been a while since I've done that.